What's up, everybody? Vandazuma here, and welcome to my first Satisfactory video. Wanted to throw together a quick tutorial because I've seen so many people on the Satisfactory subreddit with all sorts of questions and problems with setting up their first coal power plant, and I just wanted to help you guys out, especially all you new players coming in on console, just buying the game for the first time. First of all, welcome to your new addiction, and yeah, so let's get started. So most people, when they're firing up their first coal power plant, at this point in the game, you got a bunch of biofuel generators here. So I've set up a series of 6 of them here just to simulate what's going on in the beginning of the game. So I got that right here. This setup is totally disconnected from the rest of my power grid because this is one of my other saves. I think I've already beaten the game in this particular save. But this can simulate the situation you're in when you're first getting to coal. So first thing we're going to want to do is probably get just one power plant up and running, just so you can expand your actual coal plant, just in case you're really running low on power. And by the way, in case you didn't know this, you can access your power stats just by clicking into any power tower or power pole. That will show you what your current production is. Oh, and by the way, some of the people don't understand this as well, is these numbers on the bottom of the screen. So consumption, the orange line, is how much your machines are currently using right now. Max consumption is the blue line, and that is how much power you would be using if every single machine that's on the network would turn on at the same time. Production is how much power you're currently producing right now, and capacity is how much you could produce. So, with the biofuel burners, these guys only produce power when there's demand for it. So right now they're not doing anything because I don't have anything hooked up to this particular power grid right now. But once I start adding a miner for the coal over here and all the machines I need to get my resources for the coal power plants, these guys will start producing power up to 180 megawatts because there are 6 of these and they each produce 30 megawatts. All right, so with that, let's get our first coal power plant online. So where I am on the map is kind of in the northern part of the map, probably closest to, I'm sort of in between the northern forest over here and the rocky desert over here on the west. So there's this river that comes in, or a bay, whatever you want to call it, and right along the side here on the left there are a bunch of coal nodes. You can see them right here. Let me ping them real quick. We can see them on the map. So you bring up the map and it shows you the resources where they're pinged. So there's 4 of them here. I'm going to be using 2 of them today. They're all normal in this spot. So to get our first coal power plant online, what I'm going to do is always build on foundations. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put down some foundations. I like to build my coal power plants right on the water, because moving water and other fluids is usually a little bit more complicated than moving solid stuff on conveyor belts. So I'm going to start these guys, let's say over here. I'm going to stick it a little bit above the water on here so I don't have any problems. I'm going to be in Zoop mode, click, drag over, and click again to place. And I'm just going to continue this. I'm just going to make myself a nice long block here. 10 by, let's make it like 10 by 5. Give myself plenty of room. Always give yourself more room than you think you need. That's one of my cardinal rules. Alright, so we got a basic foundation set down. So I'm going to place my first coal power plant. Go into my build menu, pick power, coal power generator. Now I'm going to face my inputs towards my resources, which are way over there. I'm going to use those 2 guys over there. So I'm going to place him down, let's put him in the middle. Let's do it over here. So put him right about in the middle there. Alright, so now that he's built, we can click into him and we can see what kind of resources he uses. So in terms of water, down here on the bottom, he uses 45 per minute. And up here for coal, if we click on the little fuel icon, it'll show you what the different types of fuel it supports and how much it uses. So we're going to be using the basic coal right now, and he uses 15 per minute. So the way the math works out is it just happens to work out perfectly. These coal nodes over here in the back, a normal one will produce 60 per minute using a Mark I miner. And I just happen to have 2 of these guys over here, so that's 120. So if we did 120, and by the way, if you do the quick search by pressing N on PC, this also acts as a calculator. A lot of people don't know that. So if you do 120 divided by 45, that gives us, let's see, 15, sorry. 15 per generator. So those 2 coal nodes will support exactly 8 generators. There you go. Brain fart. Anyway, so we can build up to 8 using these 2 coal nodes. I happen to have 2 more over here, but I'm not gonna use them right now. So in total, with these 4 normal coal nodes here, I could have 16 generators in this area, but I'll do 8 for now. Now for the water we're going to be using 45 per minute. So if we had 8 burners times 45 water apiece, that's 360 water per minute that we're going to need. Well, it just so happens that if we place a water extractor from our production menu, we take a water extractor and place it down here. Let's line it up nicely. If I place that, let me get some power over here so I don't fall in the water. I'm using the hover pack now because it's a lot easier for demonstration if I'm hovering above the area. If we go into the water extractor, we can see that it produces 120 per minute. Well, 360 happens to divide evenly amongst 120, right? That's 360 divided by 120 is exactly 3. So for our set of 8 coal-powered generators, we'll need exactly 3 water extractors. All right, so that's our ultimate plan. But right now, we probably, at this point in the game, we just need a little bit more power. We're probably running short on power. So let's get just this first one up and running. So let me fly over here to our coal node. And I'm going to switch my hotbar over to my machines. I got a miner Mark I. Place him down. Hook up his power. Alright, so he's going to start producing 60 coal per minute. Okay, so that's more than enough, way more than enough for our 1 generator. I'm going to move my conveyors to curve mode. I like to build in curves when I'm just going over regular land. Bring him up a little bit. And we're just going to zip these guys over here. Alright, so I'm going to get him going over here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start making what we call a manifold. So I'm just going to start by putting a splitter right in front of every machine, every power plant. So I'm just going to put a splitter there. And I will probably need more space on my foundations here, but I'll do that later. So for now, I'm just going to take my conveyor belt and stick him onto that splitter. And then we got to hook up the input of the machine. Okay, so that's going to get us some coal. And he's slowly making its way over here. There it is. Come on, guys. Take your time. Alright, so they'll make their way over here. So our coal's on the way. And now we need water. So let's get some water over here. I'm going to make some extra foundations over here to give myself some extra room. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do this the way I actually do this. Let's delete this real quick. Just give you a little tip here. You can connect conveyor lifts directly to these machines. So I'm going to hit this here and then have it go point out this direction. And then you can attach a splitter directly to the mouth of that lift, and you can turn it from there. Right, so I'm going to point my input outward toward my belt, and then connect the belt to there. Okay, that's better. Now, for my water input, let's see, there's going to be other generators all along here, so I think I will probably send my water around. This isn't going to be pretty, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so let's do some pipes. I am going to actually switch my default to the Mark 1 pipes, so it's more like what you would have at this stage in the game. Let's go into logistics, clean. I like the clean pipes, that's always nice. All right, let's do that, and then I'll do my pumps to the Mark 1 as well. Okay, so now we're at more primitive technology. Okay, so let's set up our pipes. I'm going to go into straight mode. And you can hold down R on PC to bring up the wheel for all your different build modes, if that helps. So I'm going to hook up my pipe. I'm going to send him, let's go over here and raise him up a bit. This ain't going to be pretty, but yeah, you get it. All right, let's set it over here. Send it around the front. Okay, so let's line this up so it doesn't collide with my lift. Put him right there. And then I'm going to take a junction, put it right in front of the thing so it lines up on both, lines up with the pipe and the input. Stick it there. Oh, and one other thing, by the way, if you have the customization unlocked from the MAM, you can hit the customization menu, pick any of your color swatches, right-click. This is all for PC, by the way. Right-click, and you can set a default for all different types of things. So for your foundations, you could set the default swatch. So right now I have my blue swatch being the default for pipes. That's why these come out blue as soon as I set them up. So with that said, so we connect our water to the junction, and then the junction to the power plant. Okay, so now the connection is there, and we're going to need, I don't like this color, let's set that to blue for water. And okay, so let's hook up our power to the pump, or the water extractor. And so technically that should pretty much be getting all of our resources to the machine. So he's getting coal now, and hopefully in a second, I don't think this is too high to get the water to it. I think the pump, the water extractor, will it has enough head lift on its own to get the water that high. Yeah, that should be plenty. So head lift is the amount that any pump or water extractor can push vertically. So if I had a pipe that went way up to like the height of this, power tower, let's say, it might not have enough head lift to go that high. But I think we have enough head lift for this for now. Maybe. Let's see. Let's check our pipes. You can click into the pipe and see what it's doing. Okay, it's just taking its sweet old time. All right, so it's starting to get there, slowly but surely. All right, let's see if we're getting water now. Getting there, maybe. Come on, you can do it. All right, here it comes. Here it comes. Come on. There we go. All right, we're starting to get water in the machine now. So, one other tip for doing pretty much anything with fluids. What I like to do, and this is a generally accepted good practice, is to put a fluid buffer a little bit higher, or any distance higher, but just a meter or two is enough. To put a fluid buffer above where you're going to need your fluids. So that's under the organization tab down here. Even just a small one is fine. Let me put some extra foundations here. I'll put an extra 4 meters. And we put our fluid buffer down. Let me line him up with this pipe if I can. Something like that. It doesn't really matter. And I'm going to go into, let's see, Mark 1. I'm going to use horizontal to vertical mode. That's not great. Let's go about there. And go back to auto. Okay, so that will hopefully pump some water down. I'll go back to straight mode. And where's my pipes? It's on the middle of that guy. Alright, close enough. Go back to vertical. Alright. Back to auto. Great. Okay. So what this is going to do is fill up this buffer with water. And then this water will produce its own pressure and make sure that the downstream pipes are always full, as long as there's enough supply coming into the buffer. And that really helps with sloshing. So sometimes if the pipes are not full, the fluids can kind of flow back and forth in both directions. That's what they call sloshing, and that can cause your machines to not get enough fluids. So now that, okay, so this guy is full. He's got water and coal. Now that I have those resources, I can hook up my cable, and he will turn on. And there he goes. There's the smoke coming out. He is now producing 75 megawatts of power. And that should pretty much stay there indefinitely because we're giving it way more than enough water and way more than enough coal. So now we're in a good spot to expand our plant. Now that we're generating 50% as much power as our whole set of biofuel generators did before. So we're pretty safe now. So now what I'm going to do is add more generators. So I can middle click on this guy to sample him and copy it. Alright, so now we got that again, and that will copy all settings and colors and everything, so it's an identical copy. So I'm going to rotate him around so he's facing the same way, and if you point at a machine and hold down control on PC, it will automatically line up that thing. You can see I'm moving around, but he's snapped to that guy, so I'm just going to click and click and click. So that's 4 more, so that's a total of, that's 4 total. I'm going to add 4 more on this side. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to hold down H to hold that, and that'll let me place him. I'll fill in these foundations. Make it look nice, and I'm falling out of the sky. Give myself a little power over here so I can still hover. Alright. So now all I need to do is add some more hookups for all of my inputs. I'm going to use my lifts. Okay, attach all these guys. Now, half of these are going to have to be from one coal node, and half are going to have to be from the other, since right now I'm just using the Mark 1 conveyor belts, just in case you haven't unlocked that yet. So the way this is going to work is, so I guess the ones on the left will be from one set, and the ones on the right will be from the other set, the other node. So to complete this manifold, I just take my splitters and I make sure that they're facing the right way. So my input is the orange there, and that's facing the output of the other one, the green. So that's good. Continue down the line. Alright, and then this side is going to be a whole separate input, so I'm facing him also towards the coal nodes. I'm going to turn these guys to face them. And then I can then take my conveyor belts and connect all these, each half. Alright, so that's one side completed. Make sure I keep these separate, because these are going to be separate lines. So I go there, and there, and there. Alright, so I'm not even going to worry about this other side for now. So let's just get these 4 running for the time being. We got some water over here, and what's cool is you can take a junction and you can just put it right in line if you just hover over the pipe, and you can hold control to snap it so that it lines up. So I'll just click it right there. And I think I'm going to need to redo this guy a little bit. Let me just redo him. I'm going to place my junction right in front of him. Maybe I'll delete this guy. Place this guy here. and then I'll fill in with my pipes. I'm sampling here, by the way, by using the middle click. Okay. Okay, so that's all of our inputs. Let me just connect that. So that is 4 generators using 120 water. Now, is that enough? Probably not. Let's see, 45 times 4 is 180. So right now we've got 120 coming out of this one water extractor. So I'm going to sample him and copy him. I'm going to turn him around so he's facing the same way. And these together will be 240. And 240 is still less than 300. See, our Mark 1 pipes can only support a max of 300 per minute. All right. So all total, 240 is still fine. So let me add a junction here and connect that pipe. All right, and hook up the power. Okay, great. So now we have 240 total water going into this one pipe, which is cool. And so that 240 water is way more than enough than we need for these 4 coal generators. So now all we need is some coal, actually, which we've already got. Okay, so these guys should be coming online. They've got some coal, they got some water. Great. So now all we got to do is hook up some power poles. Oh, he's already full. Let's see. Oh, another tip. If you take a power pole, you can just aim it at an existing cable and click, and it will automatically split that line and have that automatically be connected. That's a handy little trick. So I can take these generators, hook them up. So those 2 are hooked up, and this guy is full already. This guy is full already. I need some more power poles. Let's see. Alright, there we go. Hook up this guy. Alright, so my first 4 generators are now hooked up and running. And they're looking nice and healthy. So you can see my power graph is going up nicely. It's not fluctuating. It's not coming back down. As long as I have enough resources coming in, that will stay there forever. Alright, so now let's hook up the last 4 generators. So we're going to need that other coal node now. Let's run over here and hook up our other miner Mark 1. Turn him around. And we'll get some conveyor belts going. Let me hook up the power while I'm here. Send him back here somewhere. There we go. I take my curved conveyor belts, send them over this way. Here we go. Don't let me fall out of the sky. Okay. Getting there, almost there. There we go. Alright, so as this coal makes its way over here, we'll get our other pump ready. I keep calling them pumps. Water extractors. Let's get our third water extractor going here. Set them up right next to the other one. And by the way, I'm holding control to line them up automatically so they snap right together. That's a nice way to organize things. Now this pipe, I'm going to send around the other side. So I'm going to be having 360 total water coming in, and that is more than a single pipe can handle typically. But if I send this other pipe around and I connect it up to the other side, it will allow me, and I connect these all together, as long as you're using the full amount, it will kind of balance out. So even though I have 360 total, I'm going to have enough usage in here to have it all be actually used, if that makes sense. So even though my pipes only support 300, I can actually have more than 300 if I have enough production and usage. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's hook up our junctions. I'm going to put these in front of all the inputs to start with. Make sure they line up. Oops. All right, oh, get over here. This guy. There we go. All right, and I'm going to hook up these inputs. Make sure everything is connected. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to send my third extractor's pipe over here first, and then I'm going to connect these two main sections together, so that way we're not sapping away the water that's being used by these guys right away. So it looks like my coal is almost there. Man, I forgot how slow the Mark 1 belts are. All right, let's see. Straight pipes. Let's go towards the back here. Let's hook him up there. Let's go back here somewhere. Sure, why not? And then let's go, I don't know, let's do curve. Hook him right up to this guy. All right. And let's get some more power cables over here. Keep running out of room on my power poles. Let's split him again. I need several of these. Let's hook up my water. All right, he is green, pumping away. He'll get that water over there. And notice I'm waiting to hook up the power, making sure that I have my resources in my power plants first. That's good to just help you avoid unexpected power losses. So letting these guys get fueled up a little bit. I'm going to wait for that water to show up. Let's see how he's doing. All right, it's starting to flow in. Getting there, getting there. Let me hook up some more power poles while I'm waiting. Sometimes I like to just put a power pole like in front of every single machine. It just makes things a little simpler. All right, are we getting some resources? All right, we got some water, we got some coal. Let's start hooking these guys up. Boom, boom, and boom. All right, there we go. 8 coal generators hooked up. Let's see what this guy's doing. What's his problem? He needs water. Oh, yeah, by the way, let's hook up this extra water. So now we have a total of 360 water flowing amongst all these inputs, coming from 2 separate pipes on 2 different ends. And that, I find that usually works pretty well. If you have water coming in from a couple of different places, just put it in on opposite ends of your manifold here, your pipe manifold, and that usually works out pretty well. All right, and this guy's probably starving for coal. Yeah, that's okay. These the Mark 1 belts are really slow, so he'll take a minute or two to fully saturate. So he's got to wait for the machines before it to fill up, and then they'll start sending their excess down the line. You'll see that. Sometimes you might want to wait until these machines get filled up, or you can manually just put some coal in there if you have some sitting around. That'll help speed up the process. But these guys will eventually come online as their coal fills up. But you can see the water's filling up nicely. They're all nice and full. That's almost always people's biggest issue, is the water fluids, any water or any other fluids, is getting those to not slosh around and be intermittent like that. So yeah, the big key with fluids, like I said before, is this buffer, or at the very least, having your water come from higher above. So the laws of hydrodynamics will take care of the rest. A common thing, like when you're building a big nuclear power plant, is make a big water tower and just pump your water way up high and have it flow downwards. Or better yet, pump your water from a water source that's higher than where your machines are. So if you could find a lake or a waterfall or something that's high up on a cliff, pump your water from there down below, and you'll pretty much never have to worry about your water sloshing around. So now these guys are looking pretty good. They're starting to fire up consistently. It's getting there. So we would just have to wait for the coal to disperse amongst all my machines. So there you go. I just wanted to throw this together real quick to help people out and learn a few things about Satisfactory. I know a lot of people they tend to struggle with this because this is your first foray into mixing solids and fluids and fully automated power. So I hope this helped. If you learned something here, please leave a like. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate it. And if enough of you guys like this, I will make more of these. Maybe I'll even do kind of a Satisfactory lesson of the week. All right, well, I thank you for watching. Have a great day.